Georgia held a special election on Tuesday to fill the seat vacated by Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was a general election. In other words, the winner of this election will represent Georgia's 14th congressional district in the House. But the candidate who got the most votes in that election, the Democrat Sean Harris, did not win the election on Tuesday. That's because while he did get more votes than anyone else on the ballot, he didn't get 50% of the vote. There were 17 candidates on the ballot. Here's the results from the top four. Harris came out on top with 37.3. His next closest competitor, the Republican Clay Fuller, who was endorsed by Donald Trump, got 35%, and the remaining candidates split the rest. Georgia is one of 7 states that requires a candidate to win a majority of the votes to win a primary, and is one of 3 states that requires runoffs in general elections. Since no one achieved that, the top 2 vote getters, in this case Harris and Fuller, will face each other in a runoff election on Tuesday, April the 7th, without all the other names on the ballot. But here's the thing. That 50% threshold, which you're going to hear me talking about a lot during the primaries, wasn't designed to ensure majority consensus like some people think it was. It was specifically designed to make sure black candidates couldn't win. You see, after Reconstruction, the South was basically a one-party region. If you won the Democratic primary, you won the seat, full stop. And as black voters began to re-engage politically, white voters and legislators noticed a problem. If enough white candidates split the vote, a single black candidate or a candidate backed by black voters could win the plurality. 35%, 30%, it could be enough. So white segregationists changed the rules. The change was led by the Georgia state representative and avid segregationist Denmark Groover. When he lost an election in 1958, he blamed it on what he referred to as the growing Negro voting bloc. Groover believed that runoffs would allow white voters to rally around white candidates and dilute black votes. The runoff system was implemented 5 years later in 1963. Candidates now had to reach a clear 50% plus 1 to win outright. If nobody won, the top 2 candidates went to a runoff, a second election where the white majority would then consolidate behind one candidate and run the math in their favor. Groover and other segregationists were open about their intent. 2 decades later, he reflected, quote, "I was a segregationist. I was a county unit man, but if you want to establish if I was racially prejudiced, I was. If you want to establish that some of my political activity was racially motivated, it was." And here's what makes this more than just a history lesson. These systems are still in place. The names have changed, the explicit racial language is gone, but the architecture remains. The system still stands. And today, these rules still shape who gets elected, often in ways that voters might not even notice.